Welcome to another full-length repair video from Neat Guitars. Another project brought to me by our friends over at Play and Trade Guitars. This is a 1979 Gibson Les Paul that someone has gotten their hands on with some interesting customization. These frets are also as flat as a 9-chord in a hip jazz trio. I will be giving this guitar a refret, routing the single coil middle pickup into another humbucker for that black beauty look. And finally, I'll be filling and color matching the collar. Compartment Rout with a chunk of mahogany and maple. Please sit back, relax, and watch this full-length repair. Be sure to hit like and subscribe for more repair content. The history of the Gibson Les Paul Custom is perfectly summarized from an article in Mixdown magazine. In the words by Louis Noack Edwards, Gibson released the Les Paul in 1952, and it was amongst the world's first mass-produced solid-body electric guitars. The mass-produced version was a rework of Les Paul's The Log, an electric that he built himself some 10 years or so earlier, featuring a crude neck-through-center block and neck section. The Log was flanked by two halves of an existing guitar. The body shape was still reminiscent of the archtop hollow bodies of the time, and the eventual design of the Les Paul would retain a little of that class. The first Gibson Les Paul in 1952 had two P90 pickups, independent volume and tone controls, and a trapeze tailpiece securing the bridge to the bottom strap button. As technology and demand grew, as did Les Paul's constant need for innovation, the Les Paul began to feature things like adjustomatic bridges, humbuckers, and a short run of Floyd Rose and collar equipped Les Pauls throughout the 80s. The Les Paul Custom would be the flagship model for all of this, with all the classy bells and whistles at Gibson's disposal. (1953) Les Paul Custom. 1953 saw the introduction of the first Les Paul Custom, varying from the Les Paul standard models of the time with an ebony fretboard, additional binding, and a dedicated bridge and stop tail. Rather than the bar bridge of the Les Pauls of 53 to 54, the ebony fretboard offset the solid mahogany body nicely. The Custom's doing away with the maple cap that adorned at the top of most Les Pauls of the era. The 54 Custom was double-bound, available in a classy tuxedo ebony finish, complete with the split diamond inlay so closely associated with Gibson today. Les Paul Custom staple pickups. The 53-54 featured a P90 pickup in the bridge position, with a variant of the P90 in the neck and staple-style magnets. The P90 staple pickup has a more high sound than a regular screw P90. If hi-fi and P90 can even be used in the same sentence, in that it has extended low-end clarity and more headroom. Classic screw-style P90s are fat, warm, and break up nicely, and while the staple retains all of this, it also offers a little extra clarity. 1957 Custom. 1957 saw the first rush of humbucker-equipped guitars, and the 1957 Les Paul Custom was no different. The Gold Top, Les Paul, and Black Beauty. Les Paul Custom featured Seth Lover's 1955 humbucker design, at that time featuring a patent applied for sticker before the patent was officially issued in 1959. Hailing in a golden age of pickups known as PAF. Pickups today, PAF. Pickups range from 1956 until 1962. As if the new roaring humbucker weren't enough, 1957 saw the introduction of triple humbucker Les Paul Customs, featuring an extra humbucker in between the neck and bridge positions. The start of the 60s was an interesting time for the Les Paul, with the Les Paul name shifting to what we now know as the SG in 1960. The single cutaway Les Paul was discontinued, along with the Custom, to make way for the newer double cutaway model that would bear the Les Paul name until Paul's endorsement deal ended in 1963, and the Les Paul became the SG that we know today. A few years later, in 1968, we saw the reintroduction of the Les Paul Custom. The mahogany body had been given a maple cap to brighten it up like its standard associates. The headstock angle had been adjusted to reduce headstock breakage. Spoiler alert, they still break. And the 4 black speed knobs had been replaced by groovy 60s witch hat knobs. 1 year later, Gibson was bought by colloquially now known as the Norlin era of Gibson, a time of rampant experimentation, if nothing else. Norlin era onwards. 1969 saw the first models under Norlin's instruction released to market, doing away with the solid mahogany for a lighter 3-piece body. 2 pieces of mahogany with a sliver of maple about the thickness of a pancake between them, referred to as pancake bodies. The mahogany necks were 3-piece from 1975 onwards, but continued being coated in that classic ebony finish. So aesthetically, you couldn't tell if not for the velour that was added for strength to the back of the headstock between 1975 and 1982. – 1974 marked 20 years of the Les Paul Custom, inspiring a 20th anniversary Les Paul Custom range that was available in Alpine White, Ebony, Cherry Sunburst, Honey Sunburst, and Transparent Red. The late 70s saw the introduction of various finishes, including wine, red, and more dynamic flame white bursts, as well as silver, while the 80s saw the introduction of collar, tremolos, and locking nuts to meet demand for more modern, high-performance guitars. Norland sold Gibson to a group of investors in 1986, and production was moved from Kalamazoo to Nashville. Since the late 80s and early 90s, the Les Paul Custom has been in and out of production, but always available through the custom shop that has been open since 1993. It has represented some of the most forward-thinking options available from Gibson. Its original inception at the behest of one of the most forward-thinking musicians in history, Les Paul himself. The Custom was the best on the market both aesthetically and sonically, often encompassing the changing trends, for better or worse. A classy option for the player who demands the best. The Custom, complete with its iconic split diamond inlay and evolving spec sheet, is a guitar representing Gibson's history, from different woods, designs, hardware, and even ownership. The Custom, despite the premium price tag, is a guitar designed for the player who expects nothing less than the best. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content. Also, check out the video about this guitar from John at Play and Trade Guitars. I will put the link in the description. Again, a big thanks to Play and Trade. I can't wait for the next one.